Hey everybody, so finally it's done. The National Football League approved the Raiders' succession plan, which means that in the event Mark decides to pull the trigger, SilverLake Co-CEO Egon Durbin will become the majority owner of the Las Vegas Raiders. And a number of people are saying, okay, well, how much does that actually mean in terms of money? Well, earlier it was believed that the Raiders were going to clock in at $10 billion in valuation. But when all was said and done, 11 billion. Yeah, 11 billion. So Durbin has to pay, and apparently has actually already paid 3.5% of that, or 385 million. And then later in the year, he pays the additional 385 million. So that comes to, hey, Google, what's 385 million times 2?
The answer is 770 million.
So that's $770 million. Or think of it this way.
Sorry, I didn't understand.
Well, I do. Don't worry about it. But think of it this way. It was at 10 billion, it was 750 million, or basically the equivalent of what the subsidy was that the Las Vegas Stadium Authority gave to the Raiders for construction, when they added that hotel tax. At any rate, that's nice little trivia information for you. The matter at hand is that Mark Davis, like all NFL owners, has to have a succession plan if they're in the situation that he is in. He is the eldest family member. He has no heirs. In other words, no son or daughter to give the team to, like Al Davis gave the team to him. He's not married, no kid on the way, in the womb. So this is something that Mark has to do as per league rules. And now, Mark, I remember, said, right now he's not married. That could change. And as of now, does that signal there's anything wrong with the Raiders? No. Does that signal any major change in the Raiders? No. Right now, everything is as it has been, except that we now know that the Raiders are worth $11 billion, which is a big deal, a huge deal, considering that when Mark took over the team from his father, it clocked in at just north of $2 billion. That was way back in October 8th of 2011. Look at how things have changed. We're talking about a dramatic increase that is, basically fivefold in from 2011 to 2026. It's a fivefold increase in value. That's something else. And then a lot of this was done because of the move to Vegas, the new stadium, the Stadco structure that they have set up. What does it mean in terms of what I was talking about earlier, and with respect to Egon Durbin and the whole Twitter shareholder matter? Well, I'm glad you asked. For those of you who don't know, Egon has a terrific relationship with Elon Musk. He has been involved in 8 different business deals with Mr. Musk over the past roughly 11 years. He was also involved, Egon, with Elon in the Twitter shareholder scandal, where it was found last Friday, actually not last Friday, but Friday of a week before last Friday, that Elon Musk was responsible for not necessarily fraudulently, but misleadingly steering shareholders to the idea that, well, bots were inflating the cost of the price of the organization, and so on. It turned out that, according to the court information, the misleading action by Musk rested on 2 tweets. And the defense lawyers are filing an appeal as we speak, based on the fact that there have been other similar lawsuits that attacked Elon Musk and Mr. Durbin's activities, but they were thrown out of court. The pair were basically surprised that this time that didn't happen. We'll see. But even then, some of you should be asking, well, what happens if indeed the court decides that Musk has to pay extra? Could that include Durbin? And I still don't have a concrete answer, because even though one account says, well, you know what? It was just the two tweets in the court. If you read the court documents, it was just the tweets, right? But then it has also, and also I might add that in the court documents, Egon Durbin is mentioned only once, only once. But it's widely known that he was the architect of the relationships that led to this basic acquisition by Elon Musk. And as he was sitting back there, drawing up the plans for the implementation of this takeover. And so, could it be a situation where it turns against Elon Musk? Look, I'm not going to say never or not possible, but I'm going to say it's not likely at this point. But my issue with, I just say, Egon being brought in is that he's worth, and I understand there's also another gentleman, Michael, um, I'm going to mispronounce his name, so I'm not going to try it. But the the issue is that combined, or let's take Egon first. Egon right now is worth $2.6 billion. When his deal transacts, okay, his net worth will increase to um, just like 2.6 billion, 385 million. He's 2.9 billion. All right, but at the onset, the start of the Tuesday, he was at 2.6 billion, and that puts him at 24th in ranking among NFL owners. Now, contrast that with the involvement of such people as Josh Harris, who's 14 billion, and the Waltons at 120 billion. My point is that Egon has some growing to do as a majority shareholder. He will do that by acquiring shares in the Raiders, but even then, at best, still be in the lower third. All right. But that's not even my greatest concern. And it goes back to similar transactions or similar business. Uh, I don't want to call them schemes. I don't like that term. Business scenarios like Twitter. In my experience covering tech in Silicon Valley, going to TechCrunch Disrupt, going to AdTech, going to the different events at the dawning of Web 2.0, meeting people who, like my friend who started Vonage, Jeff Pulver, who became fabulously rich. The people who financed him also became rich from betting on the right horse, in that case, voice over IP. But the valuations for a number of investors swing wildly. A friend of mine, whose name I'm not going to mention, who helped me start my first company, Sports Business Simulations, was also involved in starting a major publishing company and getting that publishing company onto the web. He lost $15 million like that in 1 year. Okay, as fast as he gained it, he lost it. That kind of happening is quite common, and so I think the NFL is going into dangerous territory, relying on these types of private equity investors. I understand that the next hunt for the NFL in terms of investor groups are public pension organizations like CalPERS. they have a great deal of money to invest. I think that's fantastic. But why doesn't the NFL allow a city to own part of the league? That's another robust purchasing body, right? This one, it's volatile. It's really volatile. That's one thing that kind of gives me the, well, it doesn't kind of, it does, it gives me the EBGBs about this turn. So let's see how this goes. Let's see how this goes. But I think that the NFL needs to find a more robust stream and source of investor revenue than uh, startup world, and that's coming from a startup entrepreneur. Okay, um, but for the present, it does mean a continued stability, and it means that the Raiders are in a good situation for the foreseeable future. So, what does it mean in terms of running or the operations or anything? Right now, again, nothing. But we got to look out over 10 years. Right now, Mark Davis is 71. In 10 years, he'll be 81. I believe he's really worked on his health. He looks good. He's just getting older. I said earlier that he had a gout problem, which I believe he's managed to mitigate, if not get rid of. Um, so I always pray for Mark to realize what he has realized, a better life for himself. He has a great house in Las Vegas. He has all he could possibly want, except for the fact that he's lost his mother. And I'm here caregiving for my mother, and I'm also like him, an only child. So I highly sympathize with what he has gone through. At any rate, um, that's how I look at the situation. I'll have more. Keep an eye on the Twitter shareholder situation. Keep an eye on Silver Lake. If you want to, if you say, hey, Zenny, where should I place my eye? What should I pay attention to? You need to pay attention to the firm that Egon Durbin is co-CEO of, SilverLake. Watch their investments, watch their net worth, see where they're going. See, this is a company that has solid ties. Elon Musk, Jared Kushner. Uh, they have an eclectic investment portfolio. Today, the economy is, well, around the world, wiggy. It has a number of fantastic opportunities, but it also has some, shall we say, red flags on the horizon that point to a recession, which, oh God, I hope not. All right, I certainly hope not. Now, I think with respect to the future fortunes of Las Vegas, bringing the Super Bowl to Las Vegas for 2029 will be a massive shot in the arm for Sin City, which will also add to the Raiders' value. And it comes at the right time when Las Vegas really needs the shot in the arm, as many of you who are love Las Vegas know. And I can't wait to see how the plans unfold for the 63rd Super Bowl. Very exciting. Very exciting. Um, and Las Vegas Strip as a whole will be improved by the new Hard Rock Hotel, the new Oakland A's ballpark, the other developments like, oh my goodness, what's open now, like Bottled Blonde, and hotels that are just getting their footing, like the Fontainebleau. Um, and we have to also remark that coming down coming down the pipe, I believe, is there's one other hotel I was heard about that is under construction. Actually, there's two or three, but the point being that Las Vegas is the experimental prototype community of tomorrow, always reinventing itself by building. And oh, let's not forget high speed rail and Brightline. If Brightline can get that $6 billion loan unstuck from the federal government, and that's where the Trump administration has to stop fooling around, that also will not only drive up visitation rates, that will also inure to positive value for the Raiders, because the Raiders basically own the revenue stream that comes into Allegiant Stadium. If you didn't know that, they call it Stadco. But I have to add in the addition of the National Basketball Association by 2028 means that by 2029 you'll have NBA played in Sin City during the basketball during the Super Bowl playing season, and that will be something else. For the first time, Las Vegas will host a Super Bowl and also have games being played by its own NBA team. That is something else. So Las Vegas is on the upswing now. Got to do something about the homeless problem. That's sticking out like a sore thumb, and it's wrong to have all this wealth concentrated on Las Vegas, and yet it doesn't have an effective plan to find housing for the homeless. There's no excuse for that. All right. So, again, uh, great moves today by the Raiders and the National Football League with respect to Las Vegas. I can't wait for more. I'd like to know what you think about it. Remember, you got NBA coming in 2028, A's in 2028, Super Bowl in 2029. You've got the newly financed Raiders, I guess you could call it, if Mark decides to pull the trigger. But even then, the revenue stream from Allegiant Stadium that Allegiant Stadium is generating is just tremendous. It's absolutely tremendous. So the problem with Las Vegas in terms of visitor rates or slowing was that coming out of the pandemic, Las Vegas businesses were underfunded. They didn't receive the bailout help they needed. And then came the tariffs. Okay. The tariffs have to go away. They really do. The resort fees were choking patrons. That's got to be lessened. They made positive moves in that direction. Las Vegas minders have, but they've got a long way to go. Reducing the cost to visit Las Vegas must be job number one among hotel owners and hotel operators. Otherwise, none of these great developments will last beyond the 1 or 2 or 3 years that they get off the ground. The A's ballpark will have a huge, tremendous novelty period. But if it's too expensive to go, that's going to go down like a rock after 4 years. We don't want to see that happen at all. All right. See you later, folks. Thank you.